We're live.
I don't know how technical you want to be, but
We're live.
keep it rolling and we'll start officially when it hits 7 o'clock. There it is.
All right. Welcome everyone to the February 9th regular voting session of the school board of directors. This time I'm calling the meeting to order. Everybody please join us for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Moment of silence. Thank you. Ms. Conrad, will you please do a roll call? Here.
Mr. Densko. Here. Mr. Hammerstein.
Here.
Mr. Kirkwood.
Here.
Mr. Coop.
Here.
Mr. McGee.
Here.
Mr. Nendo.
Here.
Mr. Parker.
Here.
Mr. Redfoot.
Here.
Let's see, Mr. Nendo online.
He's on.
Thank you.
Subject number B, recognition of guests. Thank you for coming. Bobby went as well. Item number E, recognition of meetings. On January 19th, 2022, executive session from 6 p.m. to 6:39 p.m. Audit review with the finance committee. And then we had an executive session from 6:40 to 7:07 on personnel. Then we held our regular board meeting from 7:09 p.m. to 8:12 p.m. February 2nd, 2020, Budget and Finance Committee met from 6:05 p.m. to 7:29 p.m., at which time we had our work session from 7:30 p.m. to 8:17 p.m. Item number 2, presentations, Pride and Promise.
And we were fortunate enough to do a Pride and Promise presentation at the work session. Got a nice picture, right? Just forward that to us. Appreciate it. Were we doing, start with a new patron session?
That's, I assume so, yes.
Okay. Item number 3, reports from standing committees, if any. Item number 4, administrative supervisory reports, if any. Jenny, anything?
I just wanted to call your attention to the ethics statements that most of you have already turned in. Their picture sheets. If there are corrections, just cross them out. If you can sign the bottom, you can do as soon as you can get it back to us to get that every year. Last week, if you weren't here, that took place tonight, the official copy of the financial statements from the auditor is there. That's your copy. That's your leisure. I also emailed you this afternoon. Bobby asked, Mr. Dix had asked for a 5-year kind of a summary as in the same format that the auditors gave us. So I put that together and sent that to everybody this afternoon. If there's anything on there looks a little odd or you have a question. Sat through the state audit, or excuse me, state budget webinar today, the first kind of the first level introduction of his last budget from Dr. Wolf. And he's shooting pretty high as far as the amount of funding that he's asking for education. It would mean about 360,000 more for us in regular ed and 48,000 for special ed. I don't think it'll end up there. It never does, but it's even higher to choose from. So we'll see. But that's their first go around with that. And then that was for PSBA. Next Monday, I think there's one with PASBA. I don't think this one's without one, but eventually there will be. I also just wanted to call your attention to 2 of the expenditures on our list for this evening. One is our bond payment for March 1st, our interest payment that's due every year. We pay that in September 1 and March 1. This was just interest. The one in September is this is a small one. It's still under 18,000. And, Mr. Nevad mentioned that our lawnmower finally came in, we ordered in July, where that payment is also. It's a while, but we finally got. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
If you would do it. Where did you have her?
I don't have her listed, I just had her under, the comments and questions from the floor. That's why I don't have her.
What number is that?
That is number 5.
The next one, okay.
Item number 5.
No.
Comments and questions from the floor relative to the agenda.
So, Mrs. Kirkwood, yes, has asked, Mrs. Kirk, I will tell you, since you gave us prior notification, you get 5 minutes
All right,
of our undivided attention.
thank you. I really appreciate everybody letting me speak. But I do. Okay, I'm ready now. I am Barbara Kirkwood. I live right on the Harlansburg Road. My husband and I have lived here for 47 years. And I want to thank all of you for doing such a great job taking care of our school district. I'm speaking to you this evening to ask you to consider designating our school district, K through 12, as a pro-patriotic school district and to ban all social theories and ideologies that support and/or promote socialism. The Mars Area School District recently designated their school district as a pro-patriotic school district, banning all social theories. If you would like more information on their revised school policy, you can contact them at 724-625-1518. I brought all the members a handout for you to peruse at your own leisure and use as a resource. Part of the handout is information on philanthropists such as Bill Gates and other socialist organizations that offer school districts grants and scholarships to fund social theories and ideology programs. Links are at the bottom of the page to prove that these programs exist. On everything I'm saying tonight, on your papers, there's links to prove everything I'm saying is documented. You will also see a printout from the NEA that was posted on their website for 2 weeks until they received a lot of backlash and it was removed. I've chosen a few points that are important and would like to read those to you tonight. Schools to Watch. Schools to Watch is an initiative launched by the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform, and it was developed in 1999 by Mr. Don Eichhorn. Through the Schools to Watch initiative, the National Forum identifies schools across the United States that are on their way to meeting the forum's criteria for high performance. Forum members believe 3 things are true of high-performing middle grade school. 1, they are academically excellent. These schools challenge all students to use their minds well. 2, they are developmentally responsive. These schools are sensitive to the unique developmental challenges of early adolescence. And 3, they are socially equitable. These schools are democratic and fair, providing every student with high-quality teachers, resources, and support. As there are currently more than 300 schools to watch in the nation, a Pennsylvania Don Eichhorn school is recognized as a forward-thinking, achievement and equity-driven organization committed to the development of both young adolescents and adult learners. The PA state leaders selected each school for its academic excellence, developmental responsiveness, social equity, and organizational structures and processes. Schools are recognized for a 3-year period, and at the end of the 3 years, they have to get redesignated. They must demonstrate progress on specific goals in order to be redesignated. Unlike the Blue Ribbon Recognition Program, Schools to Watch requires schools to not just identify strengths, but to also focus on areas for continuous improvement, thus the 3-year redesignation. The redesignation process is based on the school's continued growth since their last recognition. And below that is the link where you can go to see for yourself. The 6 differences between ideology versus education. I chose to read these 6 because It's really what it's all about. Number one, the words equity, diversity, kindness, empathy, and inclusiveness are being used to divide people as either the oppressed or the oppressor. Two, the socialist principle of equity means success is determined by your identity. You are not held accountable for your success. Three, academic curriculum is taking a back seat to the race-related curriculum. Four, we are dumbing down schools in the name of diversity. Instead of teaching academics, the focus on teaching social justice. Five, religious boundaries are being crossed when gender ideology is being pushed. And six, CRT and social emotional learning are in violation of the First Amendment and the 14th Amendment of our Constitution. In conclusion, the social theories of critical race theory, gender ideology, and social emotional learning are non-American, non-biblical, and violate the First and 14th Amendments of our Constitution. It is when we start implementing the critical race theory, social learning, social emotional learning, dividing children as oppressed or oppressor, teaching our children groupthink instead of teaching our children to be individual critical thinkers, that our children are being indoctrinated to socialism. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
45 seconds to spend.
May I excuse myself now? Okay, my ride's waiting for me.
Your ride's waiting for you.
Yeah, is that okay?
Mr. Ray,
Does
can you
anybody
tell
have any
Mrs.
questions?
Kirkwood what we've already done?
Sure. So, we were aware of what the, National Education, Association put forth, coming out of their summer conference. And the, school district was proactive. So I'd like to share this with you, okay? So the school district took the following. And again, we did this not because we don't want to teach critical issues and social issues, but because we do. Guidelines for instructional planning related to issues facing American students. Members of instructional staff in public schools, specifically and including the Laurel School District, must teach the required instruction topics efficiently and faithfully using materials that meet the highest standards of professionalism and historical accuracy. Efficient and faithful teaching of the required topics must be consistent with the established state standards. Instruction on the required topics must be factual and objective and may not suppress or distort historical events such as the Holocaust, slavery, the Civil War and Reconstruction, the Civil Rights Movement, and the contributions of women, African American, and Hispanic people to our country. Examples of theories that distort historical events are inconsistent with approved standards include the denial or minimization of the Holocaust and the teaching of critical race theory, meaning the theory that racism is not merely the product of prejudice, but that racism is embedded in American society and its legal systems in order to uphold the supremacy of white persons. Instruction may not utilize material from the 1619 Project and may not define American history as something other than the creation of a new nation based largely on the universal principles stated in the Declaration of Independence. Instruction must include the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and subsequent amendments. Efficient and faithful teaching further means that any discussion is appropriate for the age and maturity level of the students, and teachers serve as facilitators for student discussion and do not share their personal views or attempt to indoctrinate or persuade students to a particular point of view that is inconsistent with state standards. The board took action on this in July as part of opening and service activities in August.
Can I say one more thing? This is why my husband and I moved here 47. You guys are awesome.
We think this is one of the community. We're here to serve. Mr. Nemo, anything else relative to that? I mean, I think that's what you
We're all on
were.
the same page.
Any other questions?
Thank you for your submission.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You as well.
See you at the next area.
Okay, item number 6, approval of minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Redfoot, second by Ms. Ensko. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carried. Item number 7, approval of the treasurer's report. Mr. Hammerstein.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to pass the treasury report for December 2021 and B investment report for January 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hammerstein, second by Mr. Kirkwood. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Number 8, approval of bill listings.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve A, list of general fund bills, and B, list of food service fund bills. With that form of motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion by Mr. Hammerschmidt, second by Mr. Nimmo. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion A and B carried. Item number 9, personnel. Mr. Redfoot.
Okay, without any objection to accept upon consent all agenda items listed under personnel. Item A is long-term substitute. B, musical sound operator. C, leave of absence. D, long-term substitute. E, instructional aid. F, academic assistance, middle high school. G, professional development workshop seminars. And H, additions to the volunteer list. I make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Redfoot, second by Mr. Kirkwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motions A through H carried. Item number 10, committee of the whole. There's a recommendation of the superintendent to the board, absent any objection, to accept upon consent all items listed under committee of the whole. Item number A, district calendar. B, request for bid for classroom supplies, buses, gas, diesel, propane, and refuge removal. Item C, field trip. Item D, power switches and UPS. Item E. Probably don't have it here.
And as
Five.
standard time.
All the accounting, okay.
As well as the break, has me.
Item F, linkage agreement with Sharon Regional Medical Center, the Pathfinders and Fight Strength partial hospitalization program. Item H, policy second and final reading. Sorry. Oh, and G, amendments to the health and safety.
If I may briefly explain, because that was not part of the work session, CDC guidelines now are more liberal than our mask to stay, test to play policy. So I'm asking you to suspend that. If you need it, we can bring it back, but we don't need to do more than that right now.
The outer switches, is that the one we vote on it? We don't have to, but, or this is, we vote on it, it's getting spent.
Though, Mr. Nimmo, that is more procedural at this time. I can't apply for E-rate to even get approved if we don't have board approval. So
That's what I knew there was something in there we talked about.
before we would make any move, I would come for your blessing.
Yeah,
Second? Your motion, right?
Yeah, I can't.
So moved.
Okay.
So who's the first? Clarification. Tim's the first and Bobby's the second. Is that what you have it, Jim?
I do, yeah.
Very good. Now you do now. That's what I thought.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion, item A through H carries. Item number 11, new business.
We have none that meets at 65 exception.
Item number 12, comments, questions from the floor relative to non-agenda.
Ladies, any questions?
Should we just talk now, what do you do with that information?
So she's a member of the public. She signed up. There's a copy given to the board secretary and it goes into the minutes.
So do you discuss that at some point?
So anything that's brought in by any patron, and we have had many patrons over the last 5 or 6 years, it then becomes up to the board what they want to do and if they want to pursue that any further.
In this case, we were already aligned with what she was talking.
Yeah.
So it's,
But there was one other step there to.
If we wanted to join that schools to watch. Now, obviously, I don't know particularly a lot about that. That's something that we can look into in the future. You're welcome. Scoreboards are up.
all right,
Rain this Friday, you got home game?
if nothing else, and item number 13, adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Redpath. Second by Mr. Bruno. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned.